grade 5. I'm so excited to speak with you, and it's really a huge moment for me to even see this. But it just makes me believe that, yeah, whatever I'm doing is going to help somebody and help all of you too. So, I'm Ruchi Goyal, and this is my daughter Trisha, and she's 19, studies in Netherlands at the moment. So, I'll talk about her, and you're free to ask me questions. If you have some concerns, or some questions, or some special query, or some comment, please feel free to share with me, because it will just help me to even share what I have gone through, because it's a like 19 years old journey. It's a like long time. Because otherwise they are doing sign language. Have anyone of you seen people doing sign language? Yes. So we don't use sign language. She's just talking just like you and me. I'm a public speaker, which means I go into conferences or talks or people like in the classrooms, in universities. I get invited to talk about my journey so that I can help people get aware that yes, deaf people can talk. I'm also a volunteer. I do a lot of volunteer work, which means that sharing my knowledge on cooking. I love cooking. I love doing videos, and I love writing. So I do a lot of that as well. I keep helping out people wherever it is required. I'm also this is the company called FONAC. I'm also a brand ambassador, which means I make videos for them, and they are seen by people across the world. It helps other parents who are looking for help with hearing aids. I'm also working at FISW Oberursel as an art teacher right now. So that's about us. That's my family, my son, my husband, he's here at the back, and of course that's me and my daughter. So my daughter was born, and we didn't think it was something to be worried about. I was very excited about her, having a little daughter, because I had a son. And then when she was about 7 months old, we realized that she doesn't actually respond to certain sounds. Or sometimes she listens, sometimes she doesn't listen. And very soon we realized that, oh my gosh, I think there is some problem. We should go and see an ear specialist. And he's calling a audiologist. And we found out that she was severe to profoundly deaf, which means that when you shout in her right ear, she can just about hear. But in her left ear, she hears nothing, which means even if there's a helicopter, which is so loud, right, the airplane next to her left ear, she probably wouldn't be able to hear anything. So the right ear had to scream, Prisha, and then probably like that. So that is how deaf she was, which meant that I needed to support her very quickly, because in first 5 years of your life, your brain is like plastic. You have this clay which is like soft. It's like your brain is like that, and so the more information that goes into the brain, the better it becomes, the more you pick up language or any other skill. So we put on hearing aids for her, and I started doing speech therapy. And because of this, today she's a dancer. She does Bollywood. She has done dances in Indonesia. She's also editing music, which is very difficult because you can miss out a beat. Small beat too, she is able to understand, because I train her brain through the therapy that I was talking about. So she is able to do from one beat to the other. She can actually make out, Mom, we need to cut the song from here to here. Of course, I'm sitting there next to her when she's editing, so that we can be on the same page. She's also a public speaker, and we started a public speaking forum in FIS Oberursel. It's called Watch Your Mayor, which means my voice, and where we started helping other parents to come, parents, teachers, and of course the students to come forward and share anything that they are passionate about. She's an artist as well. She's studying art at a school in Netherlands, and she did a workshop for grade 4 students in plaster. We also did like international conversation. Our biggest audience was 800 people, where she danced, and I gave a conversation in front of organizations like UNICEF, which they talk about a lot of issues of the world. So this is where they actually, you can see, we have a big poster. So anything is possible. From being a mom, just look how my daughter was dancing in Indonesia. And then, of course, we are the brand ambassador of FONAC. At FIS Oberursel, that's our Watch Your Mayor team. So this was our first one because I believe that everyone can speak. Everyone can come forward. It's just that we have to have a passion. We share what we want, what we feel about. And that's how, because I knew that I have a story which can help inspire other people, I started to talk. And now I gave one conversation. Then my daughter also said deaf but not mute, which means she talked for about 15 minutes talking about her entire story. And she's gone through schooling just like you. And with no exceptions, she was doing everything that you can think of, music, art, dance. And so she also, have you heard of TED Talk? TED Talk? TED Talk. So that is what we wanted to, we were training to become TED Talk speakers, but that didn't happen. COVID happened, and we moved countries, and so we started our own called Watchamea. So you can see Dr. Johnston there, and you can see Mr. Sinclair there, and of course you can see your favorite teacher there as well. So she was there listening to us. Constantly talking about, if like Miss Thompson invited us. Sorry?
They just call me Miss Carissa.
Okay. Miss Carissa was invited me, like, how can you talk to my students? So I started sharing my knowledge about what my daughter was going through from the classrooms. So when my daughter was in grade 2, grade 3, children don't understand what is this behind her ear, what does she have? Why is she sitting in the corner? Probably sometimes she doesn't understand. If she's in the playground, nobody can hear her, and she doesn't hear anyone, and she doesn't respond to certain, they tell her, Krisha, come, and she doesn't hear it because it's in the open field, and her hearing aids don't hear very well. So what happened was she was being left out, and I thought it was important that I need to share this in the classroom. So I started with and I was very scared, because talking in front of people is never easy. And we think that our story is nothing, it's a struggle, and maybe people are not interested. But then I said, if I don't share this, how will people know how deaf people find it difficult to be in a classroom situation or in a public area? So I started talking in the classroom, and then very slowly I saw that other people said that this is something that we also need to hear and know about. So I got calls from universities, then in a seminar. So if you have a passion in your heart, that will take you forward, documenting your journey. So that's what I did. I started writing. My daughter is constantly, when she was 6.5, she had a small diary gifted to her. And I said, whatever you feel today, you are writing down. And she said, Mom, I'm not very sure I can write really well. And I said, doesn't matter. Even if it's wrong spellings, if it's not the correct sentence, it doesn't matter. You just keep writing whatever you feel. And I promised her I'm never going to read it because it's her personal diary. And guess what? Today she has about 4 diaries. She has a blog which has started at 7 years old. And she wanted to just write, small things, sometimes very silly things. Yes.
What app is your blog on?
It's a blogger, and it's called Impaired but Empowered. So that Ms. Carissa can share.
Yeah, I'll put it on Google Classroom after this, so everybody can check it out as well. And you can also share it on Krisha's listing as well.
Yes, I will do that. So and that's how slowly we started to, because we started to share, people started to invite. I started to document, which means writing down every place I went to. I started writing about it, that this is where I was invited, and this is what I said, what people also told me about what I shared, whether it really made sense to them. So we had a lot of question answers at the end, and at the end I realized that it's only getting bigger. So when we had the change makers at FIS, Dr. Johnson said, I think it's the perfect time for you to come and talk about it. I was really afraid because, again, public speaking is not very easy all the time. But then I believed in myself because I knew my story is real. I felt from the heart, and that's why in the first Change Makers Conference, I had done 2 workshops, and Krisha has done 1 workshop where people really appreciated what we did. So if I can become a change maker, if I can become a public speaker, any one of you can become. So why do I think like that? Because we all have a story. I think each one of us, if you think quietly, go within and think, what do I really feel about? You might feel about climate, somebody feels about global warming, somebody feels about a dog who has some health problem, or maybe there is a cousin who has a health issue, or maybe it's in your own house, maybe somebody has an illness that you're worried about. So we all have something that we really feel about, and that can become your story to tell, because that is from your heart, right? So that can, and then you have to explore that full story to the full potential, in the sense you start writing about it. Start documenting from now. So if you have found, I heard from Ms. Carissa that you are doing your P-by-PX. Now, any one of these that you are taking, any of the topic that you are taking, is coming from a space of personal feeling. Am I right? Mm-hmm. I think because you feel, whether it's about the birds, or it's about a disability, or it's about any other topic, climate change, it's coming because you feel for it. You heard a story or you read something and you felt that I needed to share this. So explore it, in the sense, maybe make mind maps, have some drawings, look into, explore onto, find as much details, ask adults for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help, because sometimes we think, oh, if I ask for help, maybe they think I'm really dumb. But no, adults or others are happy to help you. So just go ahead and explore that, the passion or the story that you feel about. Then you find your purpose in life. Like I found my purpose, that I need to talk about deafness constantly. How deaf people don't have to rely on sign language, how we can find best hearing aids, how if we move countries, can they learn 1 or 2 languages or 3 languages? Because my daughter, when they thought that, oh, she can't say Prisha, she now says Prisha, and she gives long speeches and said, I'll make it happen. We took the risk. I said, I can do this. It's hard. There were times I cried, I stayed quietly in a corner, I asked other people, there were some friends who kind of heard me out, my problems, I cried it out, but next day I said, you know what, I'm going to give it another shot. And another shot. And before I realized, in about 1 year, my daughter said, Appa, which means apple. I was so excited. I said, my daughter can hear, my daughter can. And then if I told her, Prisha, can you go? Who's there? Open the door. And then open the door, open the door. Then she would call me Tata. And I would say, not Tata, because I wanted her speech to get better. And it melted my heart, because she said, actually saying Tata for Mama. And Titi Auntie, which said that pick me up. But I didn't pick her up, because for me, I knew that she has to get even better at that speech. So I kept going, I pushed her more. And then very soon, she was actually talking actively. So I believe that this will happen. And when you believe it can happen, you work extra hard. Because your body already tells you, it's possible, get this. And we said, yes, we can do this. And all of us were working on it. So the first step, look at your first step. What are the first steps? The teachers are already helping you to find out what is your topic. So first, you take up that topic because it comes from your passion, something that you believe in, like we discussed. I just saw a couple of books. One of them was about an elephant. So you feel about an elephant, what about it? So get into more, you're passionate about it, and the moment it comes from your space of passion, you will work extra hard on it. Because you're really thinking deeper. Now for me, because I think about my daughter who's deaf, I'm constantly looking for people who have a speech problem, or who are afraid or to talk. If you don't have enough research, when somebody asks you a question, probably you won't answer and you lose your confidence. So you should have a very good in-depth research, make all your points, see how you can make a presentation very exciting. Like if you can see on my presentation today, I don't have too much writing. That's one thing that we worked on. That we just want the key points, because people actually today can go into Google and find all details. But if you give them the main key points or the bullet points, they exactly know what to look for later on, because chances are you won't remember everything that you see here right now. So if I just give you a little bullet points, so write as little as possible, because people want to listen to about 25 presentations. So they won't remember everything. So the moment they see these points, they just see the key points, that's enough. Have a very nice presentation, maybe bright pictures. A lot of artwork of your own would actually pep it up. It's easy for us to print out stuff and stick it up. But that doesn't make it exciting, because it's not so personalized. So if you think about deforestation, So maybe you can do some 3D project with it, take a bark of trees, some dry leaves and stick them together and see how you can make it look like dead forest. So do a lot of your own artwork. Ask your art teacher for help. There are people sometimes who are mean because she went through bullying too. So there are people who don't believe in you or they kind of make fun of you, which is I'm sure all of us must be facing at some point or the other. But you know what? We didn't let that bother us because we believed in ourselves. So if somebody is telling you, oh, you're not good, you can't do this, oh, you're not good enough, or you didn't do this very well, we never gave up. So just keep going. Believe in yourself. Tell yourself in the mirror every single day. Look in the mirror. That's what I tell myself too. There are times I'm tired, exhausted. I just look at the mirror and I say, I can do this. And then I'm back to try. Try this today. When you feel that, oh, this PYPH is too much, I'm just exhausted, take a break. Don't work on that night. Go to sleep early. And next day, just look in the mirror and say, I can do this. And you will see that that positivity will go into your body. And when you come into the school, you will do your best.
All right. Great, but I think that'd be a perfect thing to write down as well. So write down all caps, I can do this, and any other things you're going to remember from the day. As Ms. Patricia said, she is an artist as well. And so I invited her, if she has time, to stick around with us after this, because I know all of you guys are working on your art today. So if you want to come and have a chat with her about your art, Ellie, I was actually showing her from before. I think she would be an amazing resource for anyone who might have some more questions or maybe want a bit more inspiration. Okay? So write this down. I can do this, and then anything else that you want to remember. Okay? And lastly, don't forget to say.
Thank you.